This is my complete China reflection, the optional one. China was amazing. I I can't even describe like how cool it was. Um, I was surprised in so many ways, and some of them were good surprises, some of them were not so good surprises, but they got figured out. My favorite place was probably Hong Kong. It's so hard to choose though. I was really surprised by Hong Kong because of the just like how westernized it was. It felt like a city that happened to be in Asia but was like a completely international city. Like it could have been a city anywhere in the world, but it happened to be in Asia. Sort of a situation. It was just incredible. The amount of different languages you heard. Our guide Stephen was telling us that most people in Hong Kong are trilingual, speaking Cantonese, Mandarin, and English, which is insane considering that not even most Americans speak two languages. So that was incredible that like people who go to school typically learn about three languages. And Hong Kong was also cool because it wasn't nearly as smoggy as Shanghai was, which was a big bonus when you were trying to get views of the city and go and kind of explore. I also had my most relevant meetings in Hong Kong as well, and so maybe that's why I favored Hong Kong a little bit more, just because I felt like I had the most information and the most access to or information about my adventure in Hong Kong. And so just kind of all that learning, all that exploring, all the great views, all the cool information was probably why I preferred Hong Kong just a little bit more than Shanghai. But Shanghai was amazing as well. After a little bit of a rocky start on Thursday morning with August 9th first meeting and our lack of ability in figuring out what how the subway worked, it was a great time. While being late to the meeting was not very fun, kind of having that sense of confidence after we were done and like knowing how it worked and knowing how everything worked and knowing that we were going to be okay and all this stuff, and we were going to be able to figure it out. That was cool, to know that we did it and eventually, even if it wasn't right off the bat. Shanghai was also really cool just because it kind of had more of the Chinese feel, I guess, that I was expecting. Everyone was saying it was the most westernized of the Chinese, like major Chinese cities, but it still felt a lot more Chinese, I guess, than Hong Kong did. And I guess a lot of this was just due to the part of the lack of English or other languages spoke while we were in Shanghai. It was any souvenirs or food I bought, I pretty much just pointed and smiled. And we just communicated through hand gestures or calculators that were typing out the totals. And so that was definitely interesting as well. Never had a silent barter with a vendor before, but definitely did that this time. Negotiated down a price purely through a calculator. That was really cool. I also really enjoyed Old Town in Shanghai, which I know is a super touristy kind of trap, but it was still really cool because it's kind of had the architecture I guess I was expecting more of in Shanghai or in China in general, I guess. And the garden was also so pretty, like so unbelievably pretty there in the Yu Garden in Shanghai. My meeting with Stephanie, which is the only meeting I actually had in Shanghai, also went super well. I've been interested in living abroad / being an expat, whichever way it comes, for several years now, and just kind of hearing her perspective and her highly recommending it, whether it's China or not, where just going wherever you're interested, was kind of it was just a lot of good information and a lot of a push in the right direction, I think. While I am heading out to Intel after graduation, I think moving abroad is kind of not a long-term goal because I'd want to get there semi-young, but definitely mid 5 to 10 years. I'd love to live abroad in any way, shape, or form. So that was also a really good meeting, and yeah, China was awesome. We had a great time on all our group dinners, all our group activities. We had a lot of fun as a group. We had, on our last night, we all went out to a bar together, and that was super fun. And just, kind of got to know each other better, which was really cool right here at the end. So, yeah, again, China, great trip. Love to go back as soon as possible.